Hello, dear friends. Yes, I'm Brother Sean, and I would like to share with you just a heart reflection on the subject for this short video, which is spiritual ballerina. Over my years, many years, both as a nursing monk, as a nurse, and as one who works with the Christ Magdalena energy, I've been very privileged indeed to meet such wonderful people on my travels, and even here, who've sought our support in their times of personal crisis. And I remember one such client who came here, maybe 5 years ago. A beautiful soul, very mixed up, very confused. In her head, she knew what to do, interestingly, but in her heart, it was closed down. And then after several hours of one-to-one support over 3 days, it became evident that the heart was beginning to unblock and discern and cipher the meaning and purpose of her being here. And using the wonderful affirmations of the Essenes, this beautiful soul was able to reclaim her divinity. And after 30 days of saying the affirmations twice a day, early in the morning and last thing at night, there was a noticeable change in her whole outlook on herself and on life. But we discovered many months later that she resembled a ballerina who was in exercise, strengthening her muscles, and especially her leg muscles and her back muscles, with her leg on the bar. Can you imagine the scenario? Now, we know that a ballerina puts in many, many years of hard work to become that wonderful performing star in, say, a show like Swan Lake. They just don't become a ballerina overnight, do they? And it's like the spiritual path. It takes many, many years, even beyond death, to be able to come to terms with who we are and what our life lessons are. And having watched the wonderful film Billy Elliot, the young boy had this wonderful belief system that he did not want to be a boxer because his father wanted him to be a boxer because they were from a working class community on the northeast of England. And the father was apprehensive on having a son, a ballet dancer, because he would be ridiculed by his mates in the working men's club. And one day the father was passing the boxing club and he thought his son was learning to box. In fact, he was having ballet lessons. And he was the only young boy amongst a lot of young girls. And the father was shocked. And so it is in the spiritual life. We begin the journey by reawakening our heart to the Supreme. And that can be challenging, it can be exciting, but it can also be traumatic. Because it brings up for us those obstacles in our paths that are hindering our spiritual growth. And coming back to this beautiful client that I supported here, well, in fact, we've supported many, many beautiful souls here. But this one particular soul finally accepted she knew what to do in her heart, but the head was always taking precedence and dictating to her another route, another avenue. And it was like the children's story, Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall, Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. And so many beautiful souls know intuitively what to do. But there's a reticence, there's a hesitancy. They sit on a wall, procrastinating, when they know intuitively that the heart is their teacher, but yet they always go up to the head center for confirmation that that is the right thing to do. And you know, and I know, that on the spiritual path, it is not the head that is the teacher, it is the heart. And many, many months later of supporting this particular client, I had to say, now I really need to let you go. Because if you're not willing to take that leg off the bar in your ballet lessons and take a leap of faith, what can I do? I can't push you. I know you're asking me to push you. And there's a codependency being nurtured here where you're expecting me to nanny you and to live your life for you. And that's why it's so important for those of us on the spiritual path that we have a spiritual director, someone we don't know, someone who's objective, who's not involved in our drama, and who will not disembowel us or rescue us, but who's able to discern from their own wisdom and expertise and share with us pointers for us to look at. But the ballet dancer is a perfectionist because it is their sole ambition to stand on that stage and perform that piece with the greatest of elegance. And we've seen them, how they can leap in the air, how they can do the pirouette. And it is so prayerful and spiritual, don't you agree? But that ballet dancer has had to break a few bones. But they always get back up again, and they try again. But the ballet dancer who stays with her leg on the bar, frightened to take it down for fear of being a fool, of being made a fool, is one who never really gets on the stage to perform her masterpiece. And this is how I see the spiritual ballerina. A spiritual ballerina must put in the exercise. They must put in the discipline of prayer, meditation, silence, and reawaken their heart to discern the voice of the Supreme speaking to them. Because without that foundation, without that trust, then it's a sham, don't you think? And in 2012, many of us are being tested, sometimes to the extreme, where we're being pushed, sometimes beyond human endurance. But it's all part of the shift, bringing us from third dimensional energy into the Christ consciousness, which is fifth dimensional energy. And that involves a lot of give and take. It involves being humble and being willing to hear and to receive. Unlike the poor client of mine, who after several years of support, the head won in the end and the heart closed down. So they remind me of the ballerina who's doing the exercises at the bar. You can picture it, can't you, with the huge mirrors, and they lift the leg up and the arm and they exercise the muscles and the toe is pointed in such a way. But there's a fear there to bring that leg down and then start the pirouette. But hello, many of us have been caught in that position. And because we're on this journey of faith, we cannot be a doubting Thomas. And as Jesus said to Thomas, who doubted that Jesus had risen, he said, Thomas, Put your finger in my side and feel the wound from the sword that pierced me. Put your finger in my hands and feel where the nails were. He said, Thomas, blessed are you because you've seen me, but blessed are they who do not see and yet believe. Theirs is the kingdom of heaven. So we have to take a leap of faith and jump and be a spiritual ballerina of excellence, not being stuck.